Welcome to the SRS 2009 Crown Championship. Hello, I'm Craig O'Neill, joined by Justin Tackett. Justin, we're at Pepper's Pond, just outside Mayflower, Arkansas, built for a championship like this.
We've got 4 dogs left. Steinman's got 3. Chris Aiken has 1. Aiken came in on a wing and a prayer, barely slipped in here by literally 1 point. It's a great big triple. I mean, Vicky Lamb, Jack Jagoda, and Jason Zareff put some great tests together. This is the 5th series. All 4 have been very challenging. They've got this big triple out here. The Longbirds out there, I'm going to say 275 to 300, give or take. A lot of water right here. I'm telling you, Steinman and Jack. Steinman's an incredible handler. Jack's on fire, very talented. That's where my money's at right now.
And Reeby and Coot, who are also very consistent and have been throughout this entire championship.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got 3 incredible dogs. Aiken's coming in with the youngest dog in the field by far. Bailey's just, I think she's right at 4 years old. Talented. Hey, she may not know she's not supposed to be able to get out there and get that bird. We'll have to wait and see.
And she's got momentum. She had the best run in the trial before this one. Never discount a dog with momentum.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. I don't know what's going to happen, but again, I think it goes back to Jack and Steinman. I don't know. We'll see.
It's all set up at a proving ground that was actually built for a competition like this one. Let's get going. Let's see who's going to win the 2009 crown. This ought to be good.
One of the most important things to understand, especially at retriever test, is bird placement. This setup right here, it looks like a great big triple, and most people would look out there and say, you know, that's a 300-yard swim. And that is tough in its own right, but what makes it tough is where bird number 2 comes out. So you imagine bird number 1 came out long, and it's pretty open up there. All you got to do is get to the end. Bird number 2's thrown this way, and number 3's just a little something to get them started, to get everybody kind of warmed up. There's your last bird, number 3, it comes out. Dog's gonna run out and pick that up. They're gonna come back, they're gonna settle in on this second bird. I expect some of the dogs to hunt, but remember, it's thrown this way. They pick up number 2, they come back and they look out there, and they're gonna look right down that chute, and they're gonna know that that bird's out there. They'll know it inside, that bird's out there, and they know what they gotta do to do it, because they've all had to do it before. Tuck your shoulder, swim into that wind. It's gonna be a 6 or 7 minute swim for most of these dogs.
And you're looking at the dog that was at the top of our leaderboard after the first few rounds. This is Rebby, had the best cumulative score of all the dogs, the first of Lyle Steinman's top 3. And Rebby, though, remember, we're going to start all over here as Rebby, Justin, faces a special challenge.
It is. It's kind of a hybrid scenario. You've got a hidden gun on the right, kind of a hidden gun, and you've got a couple white coats and a little bit of retiring action going on. So it's a little bit of a test and a trial, but it's very long. Very long, and what this test all comes about is just discipline. The dog's going to know that long bird's out there. Do they have the courage? Do they have the want to go out there and get it without a handle?
Rebby was born in July of 2000. She is out of a field champion, amateur field champion called Rebel with a Cause, and then out of a female that's an FCASC called Yankee Doodle Dandy. Northrop Larson, who runs the Super Retriever Series here, was a co-breeder with Dave Harder with Rebby. I received Rebby, I think approximately two years old from Joe Bruno. You look at prototypes and dogs and breedings and genetics, and you look, and Rebby, in my opinion, is the prototype. She has the genetics. She's 70 pounds. Her line manners are impeccable.
Rebby!
She doesn't mind the long distance. She doesn't mind the short distance. In another time frame, not competing with River, River gets the hype that she deserves, but Rebby never, ever gets the credit she deserves. She's always been in River's shadow. When they talk about dogs, they always talk about River. But Rebby's one of those, the hairier it gets, the weirder it gets. She's another one that I would rather stand beside. She's one of those dogs, she's not going to overwhelm you with flashness. She's just going to go out and do her job.
And so far, she's doing her job pretty well, Justin. She has 4 faults after Mark 3, just 2 after Mark 2. But here on Mark 1, the long one, there have been quite a few handles here.
Well, what she's trying to do is, it sounds crazy, but I really believe she knows exactly where that bird is. I just believe she doesn't want to swim to get it. I think she'd rather take the easy way and
go the land route, huh?
Right, and this has been it's been a long 3 or 4 days. The dogs are tired, they're worn out, and it takes a special animal. Not that Ribby's not a special animal, but it takes one. And I'll go back to my prediction. It takes a dog like Jack to go get this thing.
Oh, you're still sticking with that. Well, Rebby marked them. We saw at the line that Rebby really marked these birds and knew, like you say, where this bird was, and voila, got it. Little shake off there. Winds up with 38 faults. That's the mark that the next 3 dogs will shoot for coming up for the crown. Don't go away. This is huge.
The Super Retriever Series is brought to you by Avery. Welcome to your life. Eukanuba. Make a good dog great. Dogtra. World's finest e-collars. And by these fine sponsors. Ducks Unlimited. Zinc Calls. Dog Lovers Wine Club. And by the Heart of Arkansas.
Back at Boone's Pond, in the very center of the state of Arkansas, near Mayflower, Arkansas, the Crown Championship well underway now as Lyle Steinman brings Coot, the second of his 3 dogs, here in the final, Justin. And as we take a look at these marks, you had a very interesting point about these.
Well, I think what's important about this test, and it always interests me to see a creation like this, because this is very deep in that what's important about this test is not where the marks are, but maybe where they aren't. If you really look at this and you look at the way the thing's laid out and how a dog thinks, a lot of times as judges we find ourselves putting marks in places where we think a dog doesn't want to go. And that's important a lot of times, but right here, marks 2 and 3 are good marks. But where they aren't is what makes it incredible. Because that left-hand side over there is clean, it's wide open, and it's begging for a mark. It's begging for a mark to be there. And you start thinking about what a dog does, he starts to kind of file through a Rolodex of things that he's seen in the past, and there's no bird there. And it's a great place for a bird to be.
So there ought to be one there. So resisting temptation is going to be the big center of actually the center of this whole competition.
That's what it's all about. And Coot's a fabulous, fabulous animal. But I don't know that he knows that a mark's not there.
And I'm not sure Steinman is as much of a handler as he is a fan of Coot. He absolutely loves this dog. Look at his expression as he talks about Coot.
What about Coot? Coot was 5 in March, not very long ago. I've been extremely blessed to stand beside some great animals. I don't know if I've ever stood by an animal that has that much natural ability. There probably isn't a doubt that there's more dog than there is handler in this case. In Port Clinton, in that water quad, I would give $1 million to have that on tape to see exactly what he did that, because I was in shock. 3 judges were in shock. The gallery was in shock. I've never seen a dog do anything to any test in my life like he did to that. He is a wonderful house dog. He is extremely infatuated with children. He loves every child. He thinks they're his kids. And I guess Coot's strength is the more birds you throw, 4, 5, 6, I think the better he gets. I mean, the more he has to concentrate. I think sometimes in his, being just turning 5, his career is I'm having troubles now pushing and challenging him. I do mind games with him. I'll run a set of marks and I'll put him up in the trailer and have a sandwich come back out and pull him out and see if he remembers where they're at.
All right, here's Coot on the long bird. Justin, so far, 49 faults total.
Maybe Steinman should have had a sandwich because Coot didn't remember where that long one was. And fabulous, fabulous dog. But I'm telling you, and I know he loves Coot with all his heart, but I'm telling you, it takes a special dog with some grit to turn his shoulder into 300 yards of water and say, "No sweat, man, I'll go get it for you."
He did get it, but he's going to be in second place behind Rebby. Lyle Steinman kind of grimaces. who didn't quite get there. But Steinman still has the lead. What's going to happen next? Stay with us. I'll tell you one thing. You don't want to miss what's about to take place on the dock. Old timers when we come back. We're now going to find out if old dogs have some new tricks in them, because for the very first time ever, the Ducks Unlimited Superfly Old Timers jump, beginning with a legend in this game, Little Morgan, trained by Mike Jackson.
I'm telling you, man, he is the dog. Back in the day, no one could touch him. He broke every record, smashed old records, new records. I mean, there was never anybody that could touch him.
And he literally is the granddaddy of the sport as he jumps here in the rain and does pretty good for a dog that's 10. Little Morgan, 17-3, still got it.
I'm telling you, I've said it before, he is Eukanuba's #1 commercial of all time of why you need to. Now, I remember Dax back from the Sporting Dog Challenge days back in 01, 02. I remember being in Little Rock, Arkansas on the riverfront, watching this dog jump in this brand new sport that nobody knew anything about. And you can see back in the day, look at him there. Boom!
Was getting 20-footers easily, but it's obvious Dax doesn't really want to jump anymore.
I don't blame him.
Likes being in front of the TV as we bring up Raider. This is Brent Olson backing up to the camera, and Raider still got the creep in him.
I'm telling you, I can remember. I just remember hours on hours, it seems like, watching Brett tell Raider to please sit. He used to say please all the time. It was
Let's
great.
see what he's got in him. Going for the ear of corn, by the way. It's a plastic ear of corn that Brent holds out there. 14-10 is what he does.
Look at the big guy.
Kind of lost his speed, but you pull for old Yeller.
I'm telling you, he can do it, man. Back in the day, he was wild and crazy as they get.
This idea was actually the brainchild of Anna Borovich, who you see on the dock now with a dog that she absolutely adores, Colby. She has nursed him through injury, and this is when Colby
Back in
really
Shelbyville,
get up.
yeah, back in Shelbyville, Kentucky in the day, I remember that dog jumping 7 feet plus, and he just couldn't get over it. And he still got it now.
Looking good, Colby. He's had some problems, but doesn't show him here, going 12 feet 7 inches.
With great height.
And look at this. This is the very last time this dog will ever jump in public, and Anna rewards him with a nice pet. This is an unsung hero in our Ducks Unlimited Superfly competition. This is Randy Woods, who's behind the scenes. You never see him, but he sets all of this up, and he has a very special dog.
Oh, Wonder's a great dog. You know, he is. Everybody that's ever been to a Superfly event at SRS knows Wonder, and you know Randy. He's been probably the sport's biggest. He's one of the few people that have really kept this sport going and growing, and look at old Wonder there.
Yeah, his name is Wonder because you wonder why he can't jump any further, because he looks good, but he just doesn't go very far. But we let him jump.
That's right. He's a big boy. He's 100+ pounds, and it's good stuff. And I remember Melissa Holden, back Wally used to battle head-to-head with Little Morgan. I mean, these two used to fly. I can remember being in Stuttgart in March. It would be freezing cold. The wind would be blowing 30 miles an hour right behind Max out there, and these two would be going toe-to-toe. I mean, just one 20-foot jump after the other, seeing who could actually get it done.
So good to get him up on the dock one more time. And, they respond, too. Even though the crowd's kind of been held down because of the rain, those dogs respond. And finally, Sir Jackson. This is Bob Mallory. We're going to show you a video of when Sir Jackson could really get up. 20-foot plus easy.
He can still do it, though. I'm telling you, he's just in great shape and still loves it. It's time's been good to him.
Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Doesn't quite get as high, but almost as far. A 20-foot plus jump for an old dog like this.
Pretty incredible. It's good to see all these old guys and know they're still hanging in there, because these are the guys that started this sport. You got to remember, these are the dogs that started the whole thing.
It was an exhibition. It wasn't a scorekeeping opportunity, but congratulations to Sir Jackson as we go back to the field. One more time, this is the only dog that is not trained by Lyle Steinman.
Chris Aiken and Bailey, the youngest dog on his truck, his competitive truck anyway. It's amazing that she's here to me anyway. We'll have to see what she's got. I just don't know if this thing may be a little bit too big for her.
Maybe overmatched by the course and the challenge.
That's right. That's right.
Needs more experience, but let's see how this rookie does.
I have no doubt she's going to get there, but this is conceptually very difficult. The marks aren't where you think they should be. I mean, it's just a very complex test. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. That's why we line them up and run them.
There you go. 38 faults is what Bailey has to beat. Right now, Rebby has the lead with 38 faults.
She's hunting short right here. That's not good because when you consider the whole program, this marks about 75, and there's one sitting out there about 320.
So this is the easy one, really.
Yeah, these are definitely 2 and 3 are definitely the easiest of the 3.
Were the judges kind here, knowing this is the only non-Steinman dog? 2 faults. That's all he got.
You know, these guys are serious dog people, and they're going to give it to, you know, I mean.
If they do wrong, they're going to give it to him.
If Satan came up himself and was handling the dog and he did a better job, unfortunately, they'd give him the medal.
They give him to Satan. Put the pitchfork down. Here's the trophy.
That's exactly right. And she's hunting short again on this one.
Already, this young dog.
She smells it. There it is. You never know, though.
I wouldn't say she's distracted necessarily. She's just a little bit confused.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, man, it's so tough to get this kind of test down conceptually. I mean, you got a big old punch bird right up the middle, and there's nothing but the liquid stuff between you and it, and you got to know exactly where it is to get there.
All right, this is the big one. So far, Bailey's done pretty well. Has to be 38 faults.
Now, again, this is all going to come down to discipline, Craig. See right here, so she's cheating that bank a little bit. That's going to put her in no man's land if she continues to do that.
Kind of zigging and zagging, back and forth, and now needs to go back. And suddenly you're watching a run that's going to go down the leaderboard.
Now, she has no idea where she's going. Either she's forgotten the mark, never seen it, or maybe she just doesn't want to go that far.
Could be. She's young. Maybe she's afraid she's going to get lost. Never know. Whatever the case, too many handles, too many whistles, too much distance, and Bailey is going to wind up on this mark alone with 68 faults for a total of 74. That puts Bailey technically in third. So, Justin, I think we know who's going to win this.
Yeah, Steinman's going to win it. The only question is, which dog's he going to win it with?
We're going to find out when we come back.
The Super Retriever Series has been brought to you by Avery, welcome to your life. Eukanuba, make a good dog great. Max Prairie Wings, America's premier waterfowl outfitter. And by these fine sponsors: Mountaintop Custom Kennels, ProDrive, Creative Answer, and Splash Dogs.
Here we are in the final of the Crown Championship. We know the handler who's going to win it all. It's Lyle Steinman, but the real question is, which dog with one dog remaining? Jack.
Totally different deal here, man. I'm going to tell you, what you've got here is a well-oiled, incredible machine.
And why did you pick this dog to win it all as we watch his run?
His level of intensity is on a whole other gear. I mean, he wants it. See, he's not retrieving for Steinman. He's not retrieving because he respects Steinman. He's not retrieving for his owner. He's retrieving for him. You see, he wants it. I mean, this is what he lives for. He wakes up in the morning thinking about this. He goes to bed thinking about this. Jack retrieves for him. And when it comes down to it, and you've got a big old punch bird out there at 400 yards with a great big bunch of wind, and look, he doesn't care about all that. He's here to get the bird, see? He's not worried about all the rest of it.
It's almost like I'm interviewing the dog right now, Justin.
Well, that's what it's all about.
You've gotten in the head of the dog.
Well, you can see it on his face. He's here for him. He doesn't. The rest of it doesn't matter.
Mark 3, 2 faults. Remember, he's got to beat 38 to win it all, Jack does, and that's who we're rooting for here. A lot of people are, because Jack is a very, very special dog. I mean, when you listen to his resume, you'll understand.
Jack started out as a field trial dog. Had a very great Derby career. I was on the National Derby list twice and went into being qualified all-age. And shortly after being qualified all-age, I think he got a first or second. Danny Farmer got a second, I believe, in the Open with him instantly. And that started Jack's career as far as being a very accomplished field trial. Since then, Jack has some Open placements, amateur win also. And then John really liked, after that first SRS with Danny handling him, really enjoyed what he was seeing. And I think the discussion was made that, you know, John and I had been friends for years because my youngest daughter, Amanda, had gotten a dog from John. And so that's kind of how our relationship started as far as knowing John. Jack was a dog that, field trial-wise, there wasn't any doubt of his abilities. One thing that we worked on with Jack was a lot of hunt test scenarios, boats, decoys, weird stuff. Jack, when it gets a little weird, Jack sometimes can get a little odd. Okay, he doesn't like a whole lot of change. But with Jack, you know, he's a fierce competitor. He's got that mentality of, you know, let's kill it, let's kill it. You can talk him, you know, can get him pumped up, and sometimes Jack needs that. But he's a gamer, but he loves to train. He's another dog that he always trains well for me.
Mark II just actually only has 2 faults total. Got no faults on Mark II, but here we go with the long one.
Yeah, he's way to the left, and realistically, I believe that Steinman could let him go here, and he could come on. And I understand Steinman's playing it safe. He knows he's in great shape here, and he's piloting the ship right down the middle of the channel. But if someone would have pressed him, I think he could have let Jack go, and Jack would have come up with this bird. I mean, I'm telling you, he is a bad man.
And what gets me is his owner, John, looking on, not showing any emotion, but has to be proud of Jack, who would have won this last year except for some sneezing out in the field. But this time it's all water, it's all Jack, and Justin Tackett, your prediction comes true. Look at that. Congratulations to the dog Jack, and of course, Lyle Steinman.
Excellent dog. And I'm telling you, Steinman's a great dog trainer. There's no doubt about it. But I'm telling you, a dog like Jack comes along once in a lifetime. If you have the opportunity to get a puppy from Jack, get it.
What a day. We showed you the old-timers, and we showed you the new-timers. Congratulations to Lyle Steinman, who has indeed made history. The winner of the crown, 3 marvelous dogs, and 1 great performance.